Welcome from all of us at He Is Risen Ministries. Your support by subscribing and giving a thumbs up helps us keep creating videos that inspire and equip those seeking a deeper walk with the Lord. I'm really glad you're here today. Take a breath, settle in. This is not a lecture. It's a conversation, a gentle walk through something deeply personal and deeply spiritual. I want to talk today about intimacy, not in a way that feels awkward, but in a way that feels familiar, comforting, real. Most of us understand intimacy best through marriage, a close marriage, the kind where two people have lived enough life together that words are often unnecessary. They finish each other's sentences. They sense moods without explanations. They know when something is wrong just by the way the other one exhales. Psychologists have studied this for years. They give it names: emotional attunement, interpersonal synchrony, implicit mutual awareness. Those are big words, but the idea is simple. Two people over time become so connected that they begin to know each other from the inside out, not by guessing, not by mind reading, but by shared presence, shared attention, shared life. Researchers often say this happens through strong visual exchanges, eye contact, facial expressions, body language, micro expressions we don't even realize we're reading. But here's something fascinating. They've also found that being in the dark can heighten this awareness. When the lights are off, when vision is removed, other senses sharpen, tone of voice matters more, breathing patterns become noticeable, tiny pauses feel louder. Think about lying in bed at night with your spouse. The room is dark, no distractions, no screens. You can tell if they're restless. You can tell if they're worried. You can tell if something is heavy on their heart. Sometimes they don't even have to say anything. You just know. That kind of knowing doesn't come from information. It comes from intimacy. And that brings us to God, because Scripture describes our relationship with Him using the language of closeness, marriage, friendship, abiding, dwelling. Genesis 2:24. A man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. That one is not just physical, it's relational, it's shared life. Now listen to how Scripture talks about God's desire for closeness. Exodus 33:11. The Lord would speak to Moses face to face as a man speaks with his friend. Not distant, not formal, not rushed, face to face, friend to friend. Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. That word know is not intellectual. It's experiential, relational, like knowing your spouse's laugh in a crowded room, like recognizing their footsteps before they enter the house. Jesus echoes this intimacy in John 10:27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Notice the order. They hear, they are known, they follow. Hearing comes before doing. Relationship comes before obedience. This is not about religious performance. It's about relational awareness. In John 15:4, Jesus says, abide in me and I in you. Abide means remain, stay, make your home here. This is marriage language, shared space, shared life. And here's where the comparison deepens. Just like in a close marriage, intimacy with God grows over time through attention, through presence, through repeated moments together. You don't wake up one morning married for 30 years. You grow into it. You learn each other. You misstep. You adjust, you listen, you forgive. The same is true with God. Hebrews 5:14 says our senses are trained by practice. Practice, not perfection. You don't become spiritually sensitive by accident. You become sensitive by proximity. The more time you spend with Him, the more you recognize His voice. And here's the part many people miss. Just like intimacy in marriage can deepen in the dark, our intimacy with God often deepens in seasons of uncertainty. When life feels dim, when answers are unclear, when clarity is missing, that's when listening sharpens. Psalm 119:105 says, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Notice it doesn't say a floodlight, it doesn't say a spotlight, a lamp, enough light for the next step. Faith doesn't always come with full visibility. Sometimes it comes with heightened awareness. Think of Job 23:8-10. Behold, I go forward, but he is not there, and backward, but I cannot perceive him. When he has tried me, I shall come forth as gold. Job couldn't see God, but he trusted his presence, and that trust refined him. Darkness didn't mean absence. It meant a different kind of knowing. Paul speaks to this in 2 Corinthians 5:7. We walk by faith, not by sight. Faith is not blindness, it's trained perception. Just like a spouse learns tone, God's people learn his leading. Romans 8:16 says, the Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit. That's internal, quiet, relational, not a shout, not a billboard, a witness. Modern life gives us a helpful analogy here. Think about your phone. You know when it vibrates in your pocket, even if you don't hear it. You recognize the difference between a text, a call, and a notification. Why? Because of familiarity. You didn't read a manual every time, you lived with it. Now imagine how much more personal God's communication can become when we live aware of him, not just in church, not just in prayer time, but throughout the day. Deuteronomy 6:6-7 says, these words shall be on your heart. You shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise. That's constant companionship. Not forced, not heavy, natural, like a spouse who's just there. Paul puts it plainly in 1 Thessalonians 5:17. Pray without ceasing. That doesn't mean nonstop talking. It means ongoing awareness. Just like a husband and wife don't stop being married between conversations. They remain connected. Psalm 16:8 says, I have set the Lord always before me. Always. That's attentiveness. And here's the beautiful part. God desires this closeness more than we do. James 4:8 says, draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. That's a promise, not a threat, not a demand, an invitation. Think about Revelation 3:20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and dine with him. Dinner is relational, unhurried, personal. God is not looking for a schedule. He's looking for fellowship. Just like marriage intimacy grows in small moments, God invites us into continual visitation, not mystical, not dramatic, moment by moment awareness, while driving, while washing dishes, while waiting in line. Psalm 139:7 asks, where shall I go from your spirit? The answer is nowhere. God is present. The question is awareness. Jesus modeled this. Luke 5:16 says he often withdrew to lonely places and prayed, but he also lived in constant communion with the Father. John 5:19 says, the Son can do nothing of his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. Seeing is relational language, not physical sight, spiritual attentiveness, and that attentiveness flows from love. 1 Corinthians 13 reminds us that love never fails. Love is the connector in marriage, in faith. The more love deepens, the more knowing increases. That's why Scripture often describes God's people as his bride. Ephesians 5:25 says, Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Sacrificial love invites closeness, and closeness transforms us. 2 Corinthians 3:18 says, we are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. Transformation happens by beholding, by staying near. So here's the gentle challenge today. Treat your relationship with God like the most important relationship in your life, not by pressure, by presence. Speak to him honestly. Listen quietly. Allow silence. Just like sitting in the dark with someone you love, learning their breathing, their rhythms, their presence. Invite God into every moment you can, not just the good ones, the uncertain ones, the quiet ones. Psalm 62:1 says, my soul waits in silence for God alone. Waiting is not wasted, it's intimacy. And here's the encouragement. You are not trying to earn closeness. You are responding to an invitation. God already knows you. Psalm 139:1 says, O Lord, you have searched me and known me. The invitation is to know him more deeply, moment by moment, day by day. And as you do, you'll begin to recognize his voice, his nudges, his comfort, like a spouse's presence in the dark, steady, faithful, near. Got a question you'd like us to explore in a future video? Drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. For now, rest in the knowledge that the one who loved you first has already prepared a place for you in his eternal family, and may his voice ring clearly and powerfully this very day.